1, 2, 1, 2. Ready and stop. Good. Looks like we're all good over here. Let's do a stretch out. Go the other way. Okay, so you see the difference? Now there's pretty much two extremes in the tempo because we did one at half time, then one at double time. At 60, then at 120. Now generally I don't like to jump that quick where we do very slow and then very fast, but at least it gives you two extremes of how you can practice it depending on how much you have these accents under your hands. So you really have to work on them slowly and work on the individual strokes before you can really take them and combine them the right way. This is something I spend a lot of time with my students on. We sit there and we really go through these accents and we really, try to hone each position and condition it so you really feel a downstroke, you really feel an upstroke, you really feel the full stroke, and you have them so in your head that when you see them in combination, they just flow out of your hands. And you got to get to that point if you want to use them around the kit, which is what I want to talk about with you guys next. I want to really get around the kit a little bit, show you how that works. So we're going to move over our sound settings here to the drums. How are we over there? Looking good? All right. Now the beautiful thing about these is the ability to move with these molar strokes, these molar motions. Move this out of the way a little bit, because we could get to the drums so much easier inside of this whip. Now, if you try to do everything in more of the formal, where you're actually pulling the stick up, it just requires a little bit more effort, a little bit more muscular push to get to those accents. And that, of course, could breed tension if you don't have your muscles really together. Now, I'm not saying playing formal is wrong or playing into the drum is wrong. By into the drum, we mean you're stopping on every note. That means it's coming down on every single note, and then you pulling it up on every single stroke. When you do that, obviously, it's twice as much work, so it's more physical. So you got to think about that when you're actually playing around the kit. I like the informal because it makes you look like you're much more relaxed when you're going around, makes you feel more relaxed, and you get more bang for your buck in terms of the motion and the energy because the stick takes you around, and that's what you want to try to get with this informal flow. Okay, so let's just take some of these accents. I'm going to take 1 through 4 on our chart, if you remember from before. 1, 2, 3, 4, then on the E's, then on the N's, then the U's, and I'm just going to take the accents and move them to our tom-toms. Any right accent will go to the floor tom, any left accent will go to the high tom. Everything else that's quiet is going to stay on the snare drum. This way you could see how I'm moving these around. So let's do that 1 through 4. Actually, you know what? You could even call up the exercise if you want, so you guys could see what that looks like. And we're going to do all 4 of these across the drum set. So let's get ready and count that in. You ready over there? 1. Okay, good. So you notice I took 1 through 4. First accent was on the floor tom on the beat 1, 1E and a 2E and a 3. The second one was 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a. Third one was 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a. Fourth one is 1E and a 2E and a. Now I could actually move that around for all of these guys. Number 5 would be 1E and a 2E where I would do 2 accents on the tom-toms. That moves you around and starts giving you this feeling of throwing as you're going through the informal strokes. And what happens is the snare drum stays nice and quiet and under control. The snare drum inherently is very loud. So if you just hit it and your accents sound like garbage, like, it's going to sound terrible, okay? Because there are no accents there. That's just me hitting everything the same volume and moving my hands around. The accents create the dynamic inside of your lick or your fill, and it gives it life. It gives it a little bit more fluidity because there's hills and valleys inside of your playing versus it just sounding very monotone and straight. And this is some of the challenges I have with listening to a lot of drummers that love to play some of those fast licks because everything's like up here. Everything's as fast as they can, and they're going a million miles an hour, and they're trying to just play everything as fast and hard and loud as they can. Now, there's a physicality that comes with that kind of playing that looks cool. Okay? It actually looks impressive because they're working so hard. But my whole thing is, why work that hard? Why go that crazy to just so it looks cool? I mean, I guess there's an entertainment aspect of it that is kind of like, wow, look how fast and hard that guy's working. For me, though, when I'm playing with a band, and I'm not assuming somebody's just looking at me going, wow, look at that guy playing, I just want to play and get the lick out nice and smooth and relaxed. I don't want to look like I'm working hard. I don't want to feel like I'm working hard because that's going to lead me to a mistake, or that's going to lead me to maybe falling apart. You also see a lot of these guys, you know, blast a million miles an hour and then they'll stall. They'll mess up because everything's relying on running the CPU at 120%. And the CPU, I mean, is your brain, in case you guys didn't get that. And of course, if you're running anything like that at that high a level, you're running the risk of everything falling apart. So the idea of being set up and being relaxed is key for these kind of things. Now, without even changing the rhythm or without even changing the sticking, just accents by themselves sound great if you learn how to move them around the kit. So let's just do that. I'm going to trade fours a couple of times and just play 16th notes, just work on the accents and mix them around. Not going to change the sticking, not going to change the rhythm. So it's always going to be 16th notes, just with accents. And I want you to see what this sounds like when you apply it musically. Okay, you ready over there? Okay. 1, 2. Okay, very good. So can you see what I'm talking about as far as the accents? It really makes it sound great when you just move your accents around. And I'm not doing anything else except loud and soft and this feeling of 16th notes and just with accents. Now, of course, you could apply accents to any rhythm on the rhythmic chart. So if you go around and do that whole rhythm chart and then apply accents to it, you know, it goes crazy. You could sit there and do a million combinations of accents. There's tons of books on that. There's tons of things that help you develop that. That's something down the bench we're going to get into, but I like to separate everything. So we're going to do triplet rhythms and accents on a different workout. Of course, doing 30-second notes and accents is just essentially taking that, what we just did, and moving it twice as fast. So you could argue that we did 16th notes at 60, 30-second notes when we moved to 120. It's really the same rhythm. It's just a matter of how fast you can play it at the given speed. So that's something to think about. But when you get into the odd rhythms like 5-lits and 7-lits with accents, that's when it gets really crazy and it starts getting very hard to understand where the accents are. So it takes a lot of training and really understanding how to get in there with the accents. Then, of course, you could add sticking to it. And when you get away from just alternating and start adding different stickings to that accent, the combinations are endless. So it really, really is a cool thing to practice. But it starts with this exercise. Everything that we worked on just now, of course, focusing on the informal, not the formal, that's also a different workout. It's going to help you get those introduction positions together. So you get to the point where you're so comfortable that when you start applying sticking, you start applying different rhythms to it and mixing it, it sounds more like music. And that's what you're trying to get to. So conditioning, doing it every day, and really working these out. That's what we're trying to do. If anyone has any questions, I will leave the chat open for a little while after we're done. Feel free to get in touch with us. And again, keep the feedback coming because it's been very helpful as we move towards our 2.0 version. So, yep, we're still looking good. Okay, good. So that wraps us up for today. Tomorrow, we're going to be back into stick control. Not quite remembering what we are doing tomorrow, but I'll have to look on the schedule. But I know it is a stick control thing, so we'll be back into sticking and pushing the muscles and working out. So I'll see you guys for that one. And actually, I think it's paradiddle diddles now that I remember from looking at before. Anyways, it should be a fun workout. So definitely join us for that, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you again for joining us. Hope you had a great practice session, and remember to practice with purpose.